How is the Hackintosh?
It's it's been fine. I have had no issues yet. I did order more RAM. I sent you a picture like,
Yes.
all right, it's complete now. The Wi-Fi card's in here, and then it's like, who am I fooling? Like, it's never finished. No, nothing's ever finished. No computer's ever finished. Especially when you can always change parts. I'm like, well, it's done, but it's not done. I have RAM coming on Sunday because I only have a single 16 gig card in here. So I'm like, well, I should put more RAM in, and especially because like After Effects and Premiere were chugging, and I was like, you know what? Let me put RAM in this. So I have another 32 gigs of RAM coming. I almost just got like a full 64.
Do it.
Well,
do it.
I will. I have a 16. I got two 16s coming. I'll get another 16 eventually. But it was just like, it was most cost effective to get a double 16.
I just like how, God, when I built mine, I'm like, I'm going to put 64 gigs of RAM in, and they're like 64 gigs, and I was like, fucking casual. You need to start looking at that 1 tera of RAM.
I'm starting to look. It's like I'm not looking at cases yet, but like I'm still in the return window for this case, so there's a non-zero chance that I just like exchange this case, get like a power supply. I don't know. I'm fine with it though. Everything else is fine. There's little things that you're gonna rub up against with building a Hackintosh. So like the onboard HDMI doesn't work. And like I've been trying to figure that out, but it's not really that big a deal because the HDMI on the graphics card works fine, and my other monitor that I just grabbed was a DisplayPort monitor, specifically because the HDMI onboard doesn't work. So I might try to fix the onboard HDMI.
That's annoying.
But like, yeah, it's not. I mean, it's not really. Again, it's not that big a deal, but it's just like I cannot figure out how. Like, there's guides and stuff. And I followed the guides, and it's still giving me like I can't get to past one certain issue. So I don't know. I have to go to like the forums and stuff and be like, hey, here's my issue. Can somebody help me? And I'm sure somebody will be able to help me out. Other than that, though, I mean everything is running. It's all running smoothly. I've had no issues that aren't like Mac OS issues. Like macOS Catalina for some reason doesn't run Audacity properly. You have to like run it through the terminal to make it work, which is fine because I record on Audition anyway. I mean, I used to record on. I recorded on Audacity when I was doing it on my laptop, but I have Audition. I might as well just record on Audition, so it's not that big a deal. But it is annoying. Adobe's version. It's Adobe's
Gotcha.
Pro one. Yeah, that's what I always recorded on Audacity and edited on Audition. But now I'm just doing both on Audition. So the last episode, actually, I also recorded on Audition, but that was recorded on the laptop, not on the desktop. But now I'm just like, all right, well, I should be using this for that anyway. Especially for like storage space. Like I have no storage space on the laptop, and I have a lot more on the desktop. Although I've already used 200 gigabytes on the desktop, but most of that's like apps and programs, and a lot of that can get moved to the 3 terabyte hard disk instead of the 500 or 480 gigabyte solid state. And then I still need to get like an M.2 drive that I'm planning on getting at some point, and loading Windows on that so I can dual boot. Technically, I could dual boot on the same drive, but I'm better off dual booting on separate drives. But otherwise, it's running fine. I've had no issues with the computer yet, besides that HDMI thing, and that's like a known issue with all Hackintoshes. Like I put a wireless card in there, and it worked fine right away. I haven't tried Bluetooth on the Wi-Fi card yet. I'm still like using a dongle for my Bluetooth devices, just because like there's no reason not to use the dongle. But at some point, I will. I'll check Bluetooth on it. But everything is working, which is nice.
Yeah, that is good.
And what's nice is like I can. Go ahead.
Oh, just when we were building this, the only issue that I ran into was that the motherboard like fundamentally wouldn't recognize the M.2. My friend couldn't figure it out. If you couldn't figure it out, that was as good as saying there's nothing. So that's the only like area that I realized I had M.2 with it.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is that I kind of built like part of the build was the idea was that I could stream on it. And I can stream on it. Like, I can stream video and stuff, but I can't stream any gameplay stuff right now, mostly because the only Elgato stuff, like, everyone kind of regards Elgato as the best for streaming hardware, for game capture stuff.
Mm-hmm. I don't know a thing about, like, capture cards for consoles. I don't know a thing.
Yeah. I do mostly console gaming. I'm not a PC gamer. I mean,
I
built a Mac.
I'll watch you play, like, MLB The Show, but it's like, I don't know. Okay.
It's funny, actually, because when I was building the computer, like, my mom's like, "Why are you building a computer?" I'm like, "Well, because I can do this work stuff on it, and I can also do better editing stuff and all that." And my dad's like, "No, he's becoming a gamer." And I'm like, "Dad, I'm putting Mac OS on this computer. I'm not building it for gaming. Like, I might game on it at some point, but there's, like, I'm putting Mac OS on it, and I have an AMD Radeon 5500 XT. This is not a gaming PC." So I was going to buy the Elgato stuff, and first of all, like, so the Camlink 4K sold out everywhere. A lot of the Elgato stuff is sold out everywhere, and I don't know what % of it is that maybe Elgato is, like, having factory trouble because of China, and I mean, and also just because of local issues, and how much of it is that there's 8,000 new streamers right now, because everyone's at home, or, like, how many people got their Trump check and were like, "All right, I'm gonna start streaming now," which is kind of what I did, right? I got my check, and I'm like, "Well, time to build a PC." So the game capture card is sold out, and, like, I've been meaning to get that game capture card anyway, and I was gonna plug it into my laptop, but now that I have the PC, like, I can do that, and, like, so the Camlink for video and the game capture card for gameplay, which I think actually GameStop still has it in stock, so I still might get it from GameStop. We'll see. But yeah, you're saying I stream MLB The Show, but, like, I haven't streamed much in a while outside of the, like, PS4 input gameplay, and I think I'm actually probably going to start a stream of Jedi Fallen Order, but I still have, like, I have other games, so, like, I streamed all through playing Spider-Man on PS4, but I streamed like 5 levels of Batman Arkham Knight, and, like, I haven't played it probably in 5 years, so I think I gotta go back to beat it. When I was younger, I fell in love with the girl next door. Back to the beach, back to the beat of 1984. We had Beat Street, we had Breaking 1 and 2, Electric Boogaloo, and it was cool. We'd bust out the cardboard in the back street by the drugstore, just me and you, after school. Hello, helicopters, and welcome to this episode of Motion City Podcast, your only choice for Motion City soundtrack podcasts, as far as we know. If there were other choices, we'd be subscribed to them.
Yes.
I am, of course, Naim Siddiqui, your host, and always the other host, my co-host, is Jake Walden. How's it going, Jake?
It is going like some relevant reference from the song. I want to break dance.
Did you watch Breakin' 1 and 2 Electric Boogaloo?
I did
this week.
I also watched Beat Street.
Well, certainly wasn't in the back street by the drugstore. Yes, we are talking about Back to the Beat this week. I was pointing out to Jake that there are 5 songs on this EP, and we have covered 3 of them, including this one. And there are 6 songs on Kids for America, and we have covered none of them. So, theoretically, the next time we do a pre-I Am the Movie song, it's probably going to be from Kids for America, because we haven't even done the 2 songs that were on I Am the Movie, let alone the 4 songs that weren't. I think maybe we just like this EP more. I like Sunday Warning. I don't know.
I like it all, but keep going.
I mean, it's tough with the pre I Am the Movie stuff where they're still trying to figure out their sound.
I kind of want to either knock this out or leave it for the next to the very end. Just
what?
This album. Just either get it done.
Oh, like, yeah, I see. Yeah. Just the next 2 weeks we do Throwdown and opening night and that's it. We're just done with Back to the Beat.
Next.
You know what? I mean, it would be interesting if we did it in order, right? Like that's what the Weezer podcast is doing. That I forget the name of that Weezer podcast, but that's how they're doing it. Is they're doing it straight up in order.
I think there are 2 Weezer podcasts now.
I'm sure there's more than 2. There's at least 2 Blink-182 podcasts as well, but we've only listened to Blink-155. So, which is, I mean, like that's the thing, right? We are very very heavily inspired by Blink-155 in particular, which is why our format. I mean, we're not the exact format. Obviously, they have like 3-hour episodes, and we have much shorter ones. But we definitely have like vague references and things that they do. The fact that we start with the song.
Also, it was just all the name dropping.
What do you mean?
Well, continuously. Actually, just mentioning them.
Oh yeah, well, of course, yeah, of course. But like the song drop when we say the name of the song and drop the song, and ending with covers. Like there's various stuff. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. That is what that is though. Blink-155. Feel free to listen to that show. It is a fun time. We are talking about the song Back to the Beat off of the EP Back to the Beat.
Mm-hmm.
It was also on the Motion City soundtrack Shotzzy Split. In fact, all of the songs off the Motion City soundtrack Shotzzy Split were songs off of Back to the Beat. It was Throwdown, Capital H, and Back to the Beat were on the Shotzzy Split. We already talked about Capital H, obviously, and we will talk about Throwdown apparently next week. But yeah, I don't know. So Back to the Beat this is a very short song. So the EP version is 1:39, which is among the shortest Motion City songs. Period. Maybe the shortest. Is it the shortest?
What is? I'm bringing a Protracted Today right now to get the.
Attracted Today, I think, is like 150.
142. 3 seconds longer.
3 seconds longer. Okay, yeah.
What
so
about beginning of I Am the Movie? Oh wait, Cameron and Shiver are both 2.5 minutes and almost 3 minutes.
Don't Call It a Comeback's 151.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Back to the Beat is the shortest Motion City soundtrack song. I would say someone would correct us on Twitter if we're wrong, but nobody ever tweets at us. So we can be wrong all we want, and no one's ever going to say anything. Nothing off of Making Moves is that short, is it? It doesn't even say. How long is Inside Out? Inside Out's pretty long, right? 3 minutes? Yeah, 3 minutes. So yeah. As far as we can tell, unless we're missing something, but I don't think we are.
Yeah, Google Play has the
shortest
Today. Don't Call It a Comeback. Together We're in the New Year in 213. Modern Chemistry at 222.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Unless there's like some deep cut B-side that we're missing, this is the shortest Motion City soundtrack song. Please, if we're wrong, tweet at us. We just want somebody to tweet at us at some point. Like, that's all. Somebody listen to this show, please.
Yeah, nothing on Kids for America. Intersections 216. That's it.
Yeah.
What about Making Moves?
No, yeah, Making Moves doesn't have a thing on there, but I don't think any of them are that short because Major Leagues has like two choruses, I know for sure, and Pictures of Success is the Rilo Kiley one. Severance is the one I know the least well, but I don't think that's 2 minutes.
No, it's. I was listening to it earlier. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
So Yeah, back to the. I mean, there's so the EP version of this song. We're officially the EP version of the song. We're gonna call the song, and then the Shotzi split version is the extended version or the Shotzi version.
You say side A, side B of it.
I guess we could, yeah, but it's not really side A, side B. But yeah, so the the main song is it's one verse and. I don't know if you can even call that a chorus, or a pre-chorus.
Yeah, definitely pre-chorus.
Yeah, it's a pre-chorus and then a drum fill, and that's it. That's the song, which is interesting. Like you get a little bit. So it's the one verse is just Justin and guitar, and then the pre-chorus is the whole band sort of comes in. And then there's a drum fill. In the original version of this song, I have to presume this is Austin Lindstrom or Joel Habedank. I forget the name of the drummer at the time.
Habedank's drummer.
I remember the names of the band. Austin was bass. Joel Habedank was the drummer.
Yep.
I remember the two guys' names, which is pretty good now that I even remember their names. I don't remember which one's which. Joel on drums, Austin on bass. So it's Joel Habedank playing the drums in that fill, which is it's interesting because we talk a lot about how drums are important to Motion City, and this is like it's not even like there's nothing else playing in that drum part. It's just Justin, and then in the middle, the middle section of the quote unquote pre-chorus, what we're calling it, it's kind of the whole band, and then it's just Joel, like it's just a drum fill. Which is interesting, and I would have loved to have heard a recorded version of this song. We do have some live versions of this song where it's Tony, but it would be really interesting to hear a recorded version where it's so very clearly okay. It's Justin, and then there's a little bit of the rest of the band, and then it's Tony, which is that's kind of what you get on Time Turned Fragile, which is a song that we talk about a lot, where like. The beginning of the song, I mean, you do get the whole band, but most of the song is very clearly like Justin, all about Justin. It's Justin's life, like and some guitar, and then very clear drum solo, which is very much Tony's bag. But we talk a lot, I think, about how sort of the two most important cogs in this machine are Justin and Tony. So it's interesting to hear how important the drums were to this song in particular pre-Tony. This also was the closer of the EP. So that drum fill would be the last thing you hear on this 5-song EP, which is what not even 15 minutes, like a 10-minute EP. Something like that. So that's interesting. Whereas on the extended version, on the Shotzi split, it's throw down capital H back to the beat, and then 3 Shotzi songs. So that might have contributed to part of the reason that it's extended, and you get a lot more lyrics. So in the Shotzi split version and the extended version, there's a whole chorus that you hear a lot of times. Like you sing the same thing like 9 times according to a Genius. With a little bit of backing vocals added in. Presumably, by this point, the backing vocals might have already been Matt. But it could have still been Josh. Like,
well, they both do it. Like they're like one of the
yeah, but it's primarily Matt. It's also Josh, but it's primarily Matt at this point. But yeah, I mean, it could be either one or both of them.
Well, live shows. I think one of the videos I was watching of them playing this live, them both singing the backing vocals, but notably, I think I saw Josh doing it more in the. Well, it wasn't Back to the Beat; it was whatever they played after.
Capital H.
No, maybe something else. I don't know. I was watching a lot of their.
Cambridge.
I was watching a lot of
Cambridge?
their.
A lot of them, it was either Capital H or Cambridge comes after usually when they play this live. But a couple of them, it looked like they did like this and then disappear, which is a weird combination.
There might have been a video that played after rather than them playing it. I've been listening to them all day.
Potentially. Well, that's actually a big reason that I wanted to do Back to the Beat, because when we were doing the Capital H episode, every time I listened to either the EP version of Capital H or the Shotzi Split version of Capital H, the next song that would come up would be Back to the Beat. Which is interesting because Capital H is the first song on the EP and Back to the Beat is the last. But on the Shotzi Split, it is Back to Capital H and then Back to the Beat. So I was like every time I would just like be listening to Capital H, and then when I was younger, and I was like, all right, let's talk about Back to the Beat. Like I mean I got into the song, like I liked the song, so I was like, all right, well now like we needed to find an excuse to talk about it, and I chose the song this week in case that wasn't clear, because the last time we did a song from Pre-I'm the Movie, it was Jake's choice, so we did The Here Away. But I think if I had the last choice, we would have done Back to the Beat instead of The Here Away. not that I just like The Here Away. The Here Away is great. But it just sort of worked out that way that Back to the Beat is the Pre-I'm the Movie song that's most stuck in my head most often, because especially because I like Capital H a lot. So like a lot of times I'll just throw on Capital H and then Back to the Beat will come up on YouTube. It's weird. Don't know why.
I definitely think this is going to be stuck in my head now a lot more, having listened to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good song, right? Like absolutely. I like. It's. I mean, it does that. It does the sort of the Motion City reminiscing thing, right? Like that he does a lot of. Again, talking about Time Turned Fragile. That's what Time Turned Fragile is. It's completely a reminiscing song. It's a song from the perspective of Justin's father, right? Like all about reminiscing. And so this one, does the same thing. When I was younger, I fell in love with the girl next door. Back to the Beat, Back to the Beat of 1984. It's interesting, actually, like, so lyrically, let's talk a little bit lyrically. The things that Justin can do lyrically that, like, just feel like they would be stupid coming from someone else, Like, back to the beat, back to the beat of 1984. Like, the little yo in there just like feels like something that most pop punk or pop rock or whatever you want to call them around this time, garage rock, like bands of like you can't really just say yo and be unironic. And it feels like he's unironically saying yo. And then later, after like we had a B Street, breaking 1 and 2, Electric Boogaloo. First of all, Electric Boogaloo.
I love it so much. I don't just like the fact that it exists in the lyrics, but I love how he sings it.
It's just like,
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. Like it's great. And then Dude, It Was Cool. Like what?
Dude, it was cool though.
It was cool, but like you can't get away with that. But Justin can get away with that.
It's a song about breakdancing.
It is a song about breakdancing, which is not the only song about breakdancing. That's what they said in that. Was it in the BuzzFeed interview that we've talked about a couple times? That Josh really wanted to breakdance but didn't know how to breakdance. So same deal. Like I'm sure it was Josh talked about breakdancing a lot. But yeah, we'd bust out the cardboard of the back street by the drugstore, just me and you after school. Like,
I love it.
What? There's breakdancing? Like, I want to breakdance. Yeah, I want to breakdance with you. This song is so, like, it's so ridiculous. If you just read the words.
It's kind of, in a lot of ways, as corny
it's so ridiculous and
as
corny.
The Here Away. But it's once again, it's brief, so you don't get to linger on kind of the silliness of it. And
you're right? Like, it's especially in the EP version where it's just that and then, like, a minute-long drum fill. Like, you get all that. And he's so sincere. Like, it's so sincere that, like, you don't even, like, again, I think we talked about this a little bit with I Can Feel You, right? Where Alex was saying that, he could be reading off a grocery list or whatever, and, like, you would get the feeling of the song because of how good the music is. And it's kind of what's happening in this song. Like, it's not a grocery list, but, like, if you just read these out loud, like, it's so stupid. But, like, he's so sincere when he's singing it, and it's just so enjoyable. Like, this is the kind of song that, like, if especially at the length, if you take this and put the exact same lyrics, give the lyrics to Blink-182 and tell them they need to make a 1.5-minute long song with these lyrics, it would just be silly. Like, it would be unbelievably silly. And instead of being unbelievably silly, it's so sincere. But like, if you just read these, like if this was a high school poetry project, when I was younger, I fell in love with the girl next door. Back to the Beat, Back to the Beat of 1984. We had Beat Street, we had Breakin' 1 and 2, Electric Boogaloo. Dude, it was cool. We'd bust out the cardboard in the back street by the drugstore, just me and you after school. You said I did the worm better than anyone you knew. Breaking with you was the best time of my life. I want to break dance. Yeah, I want to break dance with you. Like, that's really dumb.
I like it. I know it's cheesy, but even...
No, it's like, it's so cheesy and so silly, but Justin is so sincere when he sings it.
It's also like this is not it's not poorly written. It's strangely structured, but it's not poorly written. And I mean, obviously he's a extremely skilled writer.
Real quick,
but...
I'm on the song meanings. I don't know if like maybe like if. I don't think he was actually breakdancing, right? Like, I wonder if breakdancing is like a metaphor for something else. But like,
8 years old in 1984, so it probably wouldn't be. I mean, I'd like to see it, but
again, he likes using 1984. Yeah, the same thing in The Hero Way, right? Like, just picked a year that sounded fun.
Although, this made me think as I was looking through this. Back to the Beat of 1984 is like not that they're in 1984, but they're back to the music.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Yeah. Like when did Breakin' come out? Probably around that time, right?
Breakin' 2,
Electric Boogaloo came out in 1984. So
wait, really? Because Breakin' came out in 1984, and Breakin' 2 came out also in 1984. Wow.
What? I'm sorry. What?
It came out in December.
Hold on. Time out. Can we just talk about this instead? That is a turnaround time. Holy shit. What? The first one came out in May and the second one came out in December? Holy crap. And like, it's the same cast. Like, it's not like they like, what? I'm sorry, what? Did they just like have like reused, they have a bunch of footage from Breakin' that they like dropped, like unused footage that they dropped into Breakin' 2?
Gave Breakin' 2 3 stars.
Whew. Boy. That movie has a 29% on Rotten Tomatoes, and Roger Ebert gave it 3 stars.
3 stars.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I gotta read the Ebert rating now.
When did Beat Street come out? Beat Street came out in 84. Man, 1984 was a real year for breakdancing movies. What the fuck?
It's not found on the Chicago Sun-Times website right now. I'm wondering if it was just made up. Like, there's no article here. He's dead. He won't be able to be called out for it.
It's probably on Ebert.com. Yeah, it's on Ebert.com or RogerEbert.com.
That's what the link was.
I'm reading it right now. This movie is a sequel to 1983's very successful Breakin'. So did Breakin' come out in 83 or 84?
Well, it says on here that it came out on May 4th, 1984.
Yeah.
Again, open May 4th. Maybe he saw it.
Maybe he saw it in 83, yeah. The final paragraph, Electric Boogaloo is not a great movie, but it's inexhaustible, entertaining, and may turn out to be influential. You know what? I mean, not wrong. It could inspire a boomlet of low-priced movie musicals, movies not saddled with multi-million-dollar budgets, Broadway connections, and stars who are not necessarily able to sing and dance. Boy, that's a backhanded compliment. And at a time when movie musicals, as opposed to movie soundtracks, are seriously out of touch with the music that is really being played and listened to by teenagers, that could be a revolutionary development. Man, that is high. That is a highfalutin review of Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, Roger Ebert took it seriously.
He did. I mean, yeah, that's the job. But like, boy, what's his review of Breakin'? He gave Breakin' 1.5 stars. He really hated Breakin'. He gave Breakin' 1.5 stars. You like street dancing? This is a great movie if you can manage to ignore about 2/3 of it. That is cold, Ebert. That is cold. Rest in peace.
It says the original stiff and awkward story interrupted by dance sequences of astonishing grace and power. So I guess he really did like that. So maybe Breakin' 2 just had a lot more of that.
He, by the way, just looking, he gave The Fast and the Furious 3 stars, the first movie. He said, not a great movie, but it delivers what it promises to deliver and knows that a chase scene is supposed to be about something more than special effects. It has some of that grandiose, self-pitying dialogue we've treasured in movies like this ever since Rebel Without a Cause. I live my life a quarter mile at a time, Toretto tells Brian. For those 10 seconds, I'm free. And hey, even for the next 30 seconds, he's decelerating. Man, Roger Ebert's the best.
I know. I love his reviews. It was like that. It wasn't like a 100% thing of like me agreeing with him, but like I always felt like I had like a, he's missed.
By the way, he also gave Too Fast, Too Furious 3 stars. All of the chases involve the apparently inexhaustible supply of squad cars in South Florida. There's also a traffic jam in the sky involving police and news helicopters. At one point, a copter broadcaster hears a loud noise, looks up, and says, "What was that?" But we never find out what it was, perhaps because the movie is just too fast and too furious to slow down for a helicopter crash. Oh, hold on. I gotta see Tokyo Drift. I gotta check Tokyo Drift. 3 stars for Tokyo Drift. All right. Roger Ebert was ahead of his time. Sure, Dad. Sean is scorned in Tokyo as a gaijin, or foreigner, as that gives him something in common with Neely, whose Australian mother was a hostess in a bar and whose father was presumably Japanese, making her half gaijin. Why can't you find a nice Japanese girl like all the other white guys? Han asks him. Luckily, Neely speaks perfect English, as do Han and Twinkie, Bow Wow, another new friend, who can get you Michael Jordans even before Nike puts them on the market. By the way, that's the end of the review. Oh no, that's not the end of the review. I'm sorry, it looked like the end of the review. The end of the review, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, he takes an established franchise, makes it surprisingly fresh and intriguing. The movie's not exactly Shogun when it comes to the subject of American and Japan, nor, on the other hand, is it Lost in Translation. Did he hate Lost in Translation? No, he gave it 4 stars. But it's more observant than we expect, and uses Japanese locations to make the story about something more than fast cars. Lin is a skillful director, able to keep the story moving, although he needs one piece of advice. It was Chekhov, I believe, who said, when you bring a gun on stage in the first act, it needs to be fired in the third. Chekhov might have also agreed when you bring Natalie Kelly on stage in the first act, but the third act, the hero should have at least been able to kiss her. I didn't even realize they don't kiss in that movie.
No, we need to go back to the beat.
I mean, we could, but like, I could also be reading Fast and Furious reviews from Roger Ebert all night. I just watched Tokyo Drift again last night. He gave Fast 5 3 stars as well, by the way, just FYI. He gave Fast and Furious, though, the 4th movie, Fast and Furious, 1.5 stars, which is totally right. Like, I am agreeing on all of these Roger Ebert Fast. If I disagreed on one of these reviews, it'd be one thing, but I agree on all of these. Unfortunately, he was not around to review Fast and Furious 6, which means we stop at Fast 5. So we're good. Listen, Jake, you got to let go of everything and let your body tell the people that you know you've got soul. That's not a line from Fast and the Furious. That's the line from Back to the Beat, in case that wasn't clear. Although it does sound like a line from like the Fast and Furious of breakdancing, which might or might not be Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo. I don't know. I wonder, like, it would be really interesting to hear this song like as a breakdancing. Like, there's no way you could breakdance to this song. How funny would that be, though? Trying to breakdance.
I would love to see a video of breakdancing dubbed over. But the thing is, like, it feels tonally clashing. But the lyrical content of the side B version of the song, that like at least thematically is appropriate. Let go of everything. Let your body tell the people that you know. Right. You got soul. You got soul. I mean, like, yeah, halfway through the song, it becomes a Daft Punk song and just say the same thing over and over again, right? But, like, but that, with other musicality. And not to diss Daft Punk. Jake loves Daft Punk, and I also like Daft Punk. I like Daft Punk. I don't.
Right.
I don't.
Jake and I both like Daft Punk.
Just say Jeff Punk.
Yes, Jeff Punk.
Jeff Punk.
Jeff Punk is the name of my alter ego that only covers Daft Punk songs. Hello, welcome to the open mic night. I'm Jeff Punk. I guess Jeff Punk could also play punk rock songs. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? Hello, I'm Jeff Punk. All right, whatever. Sure, yeah. So I don't know. So which do you prefer? Do you prefer the EP version, or do you prefer the Shotzi version, the extended version?
I mean, more is better to me.
Yeah, I agree. I really like the drum fill. Obviously, I think it'd be better if it was Tony, but who knows if it'd actually be better if it was Tony. But I really like the drum fill, and you don't really get that drum fill in the Shotzi Slit version. But and like the more you get, right? Like you say, more is better, and more is better, right? But like more can be better, not necessarily.
A version
but
of this with the Tony drumming would be nice.
Yeah.
And I bet there's some live performance where they do have Tony playing the.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. But like, a recorded version.
Right.
And then like the more is better, like, but it's just the same chorus over and over again, right? Like, which is
I love this chorus. Like, I know I think he sings it very well. I think this is a complicated thematically song. He likes a girl, he likes breakdancing, but I just think it's really one of my favorite. I mean, every song so far that we've played on repeat, it's like, oh, I like this even more and even more and even more and even more. But let go of everything, let your body tell the people that you've got soul. I think he's singing that so well. Like, I think everything he sings it well, but like, the comparison I want to go to with this is "The Son of a Gun," which is a song I also think he sings so well. Like, is a really big spotlight of his singing as opposed to.
I believe you say the best of any song.
I don't know that it's the best of any song.
In your opinion,
I think it's. I don't think it. I think maybe it's not as appreciated. I don't know people like you see fandom who listen to it, they do enjoy it, but it's just. Some of like the notes he hits in "Son of a Gun." I don't like. Where else do you see it? And where else do you see he singing that high?
I know there's there's definitely a song where he sings that high, but I get your point.
And so I feel like "Son of a Gun," which is very Justin, front and center. I know that is like the band, but sometimes like the conversation, hold me down. Those are songs that are very him forward,
right? Where vocals are the only lead instrument, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get lead guitar, and sometimes you get lead synth, and sometimes you get lead drums. But like especially in the conversation and a lot of chunks of "Hold Me Down," the lead instrument throughout the entire song is Justin's vocals.
Even LG Fuad is a lot of
for sure. And in Back to the Beat, which is your point,
yes.
Which I totally agree with. Yeah. Here's something interesting, actually. So the Motion City soundtrack Shotzi Split, like it has what appears to be a drawing of what I'm guessing is the two bands.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Shotzi looks like, but that's like I can tell the guy on the left, like the second from the left, seems to be Josh, right? Like basing on the fact that looks kind of like Josh.
Got the glasses, got the sideburns.
The glasses, the sideburns, and the sort of, like poofy brown hair.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that's Justin on the ground, and then maybe that's Jesse next to Josh. And then on the left, I guess that has to be Tony. I mean, early Tony had long hair, and it's hard to tell. But maybe that's Matt on the left, and that's Tony in the middle. But it'd be weird to have Tony in the middle, right? Like, but I don't know. We were trying to figure out whether or not Tony was, or Matt. We're trying to figure out whether or not Matt was in the band yet.
Wait, Jesse also has glasses.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jesse's the one standing next to Josh, and Justin's on the floor. Is what I'm guessing. It could be the other way around, but I think it's that way. I think Jesse is standing with the glasses. Does Jesse not have glasses?
Jesse does have glasses.
Yeah. So. I mean, again, it might or might not be, but
let's look at a picture of Shotzi.
That's a fair assessment. Let's look at a picture. How many people are in Shotzi? Well, I think Shotzi also like never got that big. I don't know if they made it much farther past this.
Okay, so
there were five.
No, so the guy to the right of who we think is Josh is a guy in the band. Is a guy in Shotzi. And two of the guys in Shotzi have glasses.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fair. Okay, so yeah, it looks like the guy with the beard. So, is the guy on the floor? Because you're right. Because that
didn't
guy,
Tony have long sideburns?
Tony did have long hair and sideburns. I don't know if that's Tony on the left or Tony in the middle.
Bottom right.
I think Tony had long hair though.
I feel like I've definitely seen pictures of Tony with long sideburns and short hair.
With long sideburns.
What about the Future Freaks Me Out video?
Two of the guys in Shotzi have glasses. Well, hold on. So there's 4 or 5 guys in Shotzi. So there's 4 or 5 and 4 or 5 in Motion City. So these two guys on the right are definitely Shotzi, and these 2 darker skinned guys are definitely Shotzi, because Shotzi has 2 black guys and 2 guys with glasses, 2 white guys with glasses. It looks like. The question is the 5th guy. So if we assume that's Justin on the ground and that's Josh standing, why would the one guy from Shotzi be with not the rest of Shotzi? I don't know.
Maybe it's just a drawing of a picture of all of them.
Boy, I don't know. No, I think you're right. I think you're right. Around the early era, Tony had long hair and sideburns. He grew short hair and sideburns. He grew the longer hair a little bit later.
And I mean, there are lots of pictures of,
and then the beard, obviously.
Like the promo pictures and like the normal pictures of Motion City typically have Tony or Jesse in glasses, but all the performance pictures of him, no glasses.
Yeah, because he like moves a lot.
Yeah. It's a funny idea of him wearing goggles on stage.
That'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's not really that important to know whether or not Matt was on this album. Let me play a little chunk. We talked a lot about the Shotzi version. I don't know if, I mean, it's on YouTube, but I don't know how many people have heard it. So let's play a little chunk of the Shotzi version, the chorus part here.
Let go of everything. Let your body tell the people that you know. You've got soul. Let go of everything. Let your body tell the people that you know. You've got soul.
You're right though. It's so killer. I mean, it's the thing is his sincerity, right? Like Justin's ability to be sincere, especially when things are a little bit more ridiculous. Like I think the lyrics to this song kind of are, is part of what's great about Motion City. Like his sincerity constantly is what I love about a lot of parts of this band. So that's, yeah. I mean, song meanings, I think it's pretty straightforward. Either actually about breakdancing or breakdancing is a metaphor for something else that we have no idea what it could be a metaphor for.
Just a relationship.
Just a relationship for sure. Just wondering, I don't know if it's anything in particular or just like, yeah, it's a metaphor for the relationship. So I guess let's do the covers. Actually, so let's do the live version first. So I have 2 live clips. Really, they're pretty much the same. One is higher quality, but I want to play the other one because I was at this show. So this is from the So Long Farewell tour, and this is the show at the pageant in St. Louis. I'm going to play the full 38 seconds of this clip just because I can. I mostly just wanted to shame Jake for not coming to that show because he could have been there.
I could have.
He bought a ticket and everything. He had a ticket.
Did buy a ticket.
In fact, I got into that show on Jake's ticket because I left my ticket in Chicago. And like I think I've mentioned, I'm from St. Louis, grew up in St. Louis. My girlfriend at the time got me tickets to the show in St. Louis. It was me and her, and then a third friend of ours came as well, and I drove. I was living in Chicago at the time. Drove home to St. Louis to see the show, and left my ticket in Chicago. And I was like, Jake, you bought a ticket, right? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah. I'm like, are you coming? No, I don't think I'm coming. I'm like, all right, can you send me your ticket? Because I left mine in Chicago. Because otherwise what I was doing was like, I was going to like Photoshop something together and like hope they would scan me in on it, which they would. Nobody would really care. But my ex-girlfriend was like, it's dishonest and you might get in trouble and you shouldn't do that. And I'm like, whatever, I bought the ticket. But then I did. I in fact went to that show on a ticket that Jake purchased for himself and did not show up.
It would involve me driving to St. Louis, and that's, I don't, you know.
Boo-hoo!
Obviously now I would have gone. Like,
yeah, you should have gone.
Honestly, at this point, I'm wishing I'd gone to the concert in Milwaukee.
I mean, you could have gone to that show too. We were all ready.
I would have caught the coronavirus.
The last thing you would have done pre-pandemic. I didn't get the coronavirus.
Yeah, but I would have been flying through O'Hare and.
That's true. Well, I don't know, man. My February was jam packed with like large gatherings of people who were traveling.
Maybe you already have it. Maybe you had a really mild version of it. Got over it real quick.
Maybe I did. I mean, I wish there was a way to know. I wish there were tests to know that kind of thing. If only there was like a test that you could take to know whether or not you had the virus. So as I cough. No, but so my February. We'll get to the other live version in a second. My February, I went to that show. And then it was C2E2 later in the month, which is a comic convention where lots of people from lots of cities are visiting to go to the convention. And then like early mid-March was Geek Bowl, which was, again, a lot of people from a lot of places coming to play trivia together, some of whom were from Seattle, which had the first outbreak. So like, maybe I got it, maybe I didn't, but I certainly interacted with a shit ton of people from lots of places right at late February, early March, in addition to working at a movie theater. So, I don't know. Maybe it's not real, man. Maybe it's a hoax. That's what they say, right? That's what Twitter's saying. Does anybody actually know anybody who's got the virus? Like, yeah, I mean, yeah, we do. Anyway. Let's play this live version. It's just basically the same thing, same tour even. In fact, it's a month and a half later. This was at the Wrecking Ball in Atlanta, Georgia. This is a full like highly recorded set. So here is the that. And I might play a little bit of them because they go straight into capital H after this. So let me skip a little bit ahead here and then. What's the best time of night? Interestingly, on this tour, I think alternately, they generally did open with Back to the Beat, as far as I could tell. And then they usually either went into Capital H or Cambridge, which is interesting because especially when I went to see this tour, I was not as familiar with I Am the Movie. Like, I was a big fan of everything Commit This to Memory on. I knew every word from all those albums, but I never really got into I Am the Movie until much later, like shortly before the reunion was announced. So are you judging me right now? Or are you?
I'm judging you.
That's fair. I mean, it's fair, right?
No,
like I knew Future Freaks, right?
Your word memory is freaky, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've played music like on streams for Jake and other people, and I definitely have a really good memory for lyrics. But yeah, there's So I really did not know. I didn't know Back to the Beat. I didn't know Capital H. My Favorite Accident were the 3 songs off I'm the Movie that were played in this set. And, those are the kind of things you'd hear on this kind of tour usually as well. My Favorite Accident, Capital H are the 2 big ones. Then Back to the Beat, it's a minute to open with. And then they close with Future Freaks, which is, everyone knows Future Freaks, right? But yeah, so it was definitely like just not knowing some of that stuff, and so I forget what they did or didn't play there. But yeah, Back to the Beat. They opened a lot with that on that farewell tour. Anyway, so that was the live version. Let's talk about some covers. So the first one we have is one that technically Jake found before me, which doesn't usually happen. I would have found it right away, but Jake was looking before I was looking. So this one is from Rain Blue on SoundCloud. So this is his cover of Back to the Beat.
When I was younger, I fell in love with a girl next door. Back to the beat, yeah, back to the beat of 1984. We had Beat Street, we had Breaker.
There's definitely points in that, which you mentioned, that he's a little off key, which I think is just, I think his voice is okay. I think it's just this song is not in his key. It's not the key that he should be in. He probably should have pitched it down a little bit. But otherwise,
I don't think his voice is a problem.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's information about it. It might just be, relatively new to it. It didn't seem like there was a fundamental problem, just so much as like he just wasn't hitting those notes right there.
Yeah. I didn't listen to any of the other things he did, but he did a couple. I mean, these 3 years ago, some stuff. Oh, Perfect Teeth Freak Me Out demo. I gotta check this out. I don't know if this is an original song that is just based on Motion City, or if it's like a mashup he did, but we will take a look. He also did a cover of Not Asking You to Leave. He did 2 covers of Not Asking You to Leave. All right, well, these are going to get saved for those episodes, too. So Long Farewell. Man, he's a big Motion City fan. Rain Blue, if you're listening, let us know. We'll have you on the show, maybe. We'll see.
Heck yeah.
And this last one is from CC from the Future, looks like, on YouTube. The description says, "This is not the original version. This is a cover that I hope you like. Thank you. Thinking about making this a thing, so I'm open for requests. Taping this with my iTouch, so I don't have anything to set this up with." Which tells you what era this is. It's from 2011. So here is Sissy from the Future playing Back to the Beat.
Go back to the beat of 1984. We had Beat Street, we had Breaking 1 and 2. Electric Boogaloo, it was cool. We bust out the cardboard in the back street by the drugstore, just me and you. After school, you said I did the work better than anyone that.
I like her voice. I find it interesting that she's singing so quickly, which is very.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, no, I don't think it's bad. I think it's interesting. It's interesting.
No, yeah, no, it definitely is. I just love that she, just taking it in her own direction, deciding to sing it super quickly.
Yeah, which is funny because it's something that I find myself doing a lot. And maybe it's just because I don't know if it's my sense of rhythm or just because I just want to get through it. Especially a lot of times I'll play a song 4 times and the 5th time is the one I finally finish. Is ends up being so much quicker than the other times because I just can I just get this working now? And her guitar's out of tune, but her singing is great.
Yeah. I realized I was just saying it to you. It's just give me Bare Naked Ladies vibes. What I realized is it's not so much as that. It's just that kind of, acoustic guitar. Just she did remind me a little bit of I can't think of his name right now. The guy who left Bare Naked Ladies.
BNL. They're so fundamental now. We gotta call him BNL.
I mean, they went platinum in a month.
How many times have you been platinum, Jeff?
I know, like a lot of that is like the Canadian impetus of like, hey, we got a band that's
Stephen
blowing up
Page?
again, but yeah, I wanted to say it was Stephen Page, and I'm like, that sounded right? I'm like, isn't there a famous other Stephen, like a significantly more famous person named Stephen Page?
There's no, there's
Or I was thinking of Larry Page.
No, I'm not thinking of Larry Page. I'm thinking of is it Jimmy Page? Yeah,
I'm definitely not thinking of Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin.
Nah, that's not that's not it for me.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, it's a more famous guitarist named Page, which is probably where, like, that's what I was thinking you might be thinking, but whatever.
Well, Page was also one of the two lead singers of BNL. But what I think I more realize is just that like there's a certain area of music like she's singing in that Bare Naked Ladies also singing in, and also I asked Josh and he's like, no, we never really listened to. Never really listened to Bare Naked Ladies.
We gotta get Josh on the show at some point. Gotta send him a message like, "Hey, Josh, you wanna be on our podcast? We plug your Twitch every week. Nobody listens to us though." By the way, CC from the Future hasn't posted in 3 years, but this one was 9 years ago, and she also has a Farewell Continental cover from 8 years ago. Farewell Continental, for those you don't know, was just one of Justin's side projects. So she's definitely a fan of Justin Pierre. Looks like she's still on YouTube. Like she still makes playlists of stuff. So she updated a playlist yesterday. She just doesn't make videos anymore.
Post a comment on one of her videos and thank her. She'll see it.
That's a good point. Yeah. I will absolutely do that. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna comment on her video.
Comment on it right now.
I'm gonna comment my very usual comment.
Plug the site. Tell her that we're gonna talk about this cover on the next episode and say only nice things about her, and only one nice thing about her guitar being out of tune. Which is fun. Like, listen, I did the same thing. Like, it was 9 years ago. Like, I have plenty of songs I've recorded with my guitar being out of tune 9 years ago. So like, no sweat, girl. Like, anyway, that. Do you have any final thoughts on this song?
None.
None thoughts. Hashtag none thoughts. I'm gonna make a T-shirt. We're going to put a T-shirt. That's going to be our first official merchandise. We're going to have a shirt that says Hello Helicopters and a shirt that says None Thoughts. Those are our two catchphrases, right? I don't think I have anything else. That's it for this edition of Motion City Podcast. If you want to follow us on the inner tubes, I am at Kuhan. Jake is at The Boredom Line. The show is at Motion City Pod. The band is at Motion City Music on Twitter, at Motion City Podcast on Instagram, Motion City Soundtrack on Instagram. Oof, Motion City Podcast. No, we're not even Motion City Podcast on Instagram. We're Motion City Pod on Instagram. Yeah, that follow the band. I mean, JCPMCS everywhere. Josh is Joshua Kane on Twitter and Joshua Allen Kane on Instagram, I think. Claudio is at AT Claudio Rivera everywhere. Tony is Tony Thaxton everywhere. Jesse is Jesse Mac on Instagram and Jesse Mac J on Twitter, I think. Jesse Mac J on Twitter and I think at Jesse Mac on Instagram. And Matt is, I think, Matthew S. Taylor, both places. I believe. I could be wrong. He's definitely Matthew S. Taylor on Twitter, but again, never posts there. That's it. Oh, Josh is Josh streaming right now?
I don't think it. He had some pretty wild hours, and I think he's
I will say, yeah, I'm so used to us recording at a time that it makes sense for Josh to be streaming, but it is 1:42 in the morning here right now.
And there's some days recently where he was streaming until like 5 a.m.
I know, yeah, but like usually if it's like 8 o'clock on a Tuesday, it's not weird for Josh to be streaming. If it's 2 a.m. on a Friday night, Saturday morning, definitely weird.
Yeah, he's been keeping to more reasonable hours lately. But yeah, it's Chudy. It's on his Twitter. He posts about it when he's going live. So. Yep.
Yes, that is 95% of Josh's tweets are, "Hey, I'm live on Twitch now."
Yep.
So that is Joshua Kane on Twitter. I think we've mentioned this before, but the whole band is verified on Twitter except Matt.
I don't remember that, actually. Oh, poor Matt.
Like, I don't know why. Like, even Jesse. I'd get if Jesse and Matt weren't verified, but... Well, it's like one of those things, like, you know, Jesse and Matt don't have Wikipedia pages. Like, Tony would make sense, too, if he wasn't, like, a fairly well-known podcaster at this point. And, you know, Justin, obviously, the front man, but weird. Oh, hey, also, we didn't mention this, but The Current, which is a Minnesota Public Radio music station thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They did Minnesota Music Month. So on April 29th, second to last day of the month, they did a whole spotlight on Motion City soundtrack. So check that out. There's a little, like, they talk a little bit about them too. I don't remember. Did you listen to it? Did they interview them? I forget. I didn't listen to the whole thing. But yeah, they talk about the band. They do a little spotlight on them. It would be cool if they had, like, put some music on there too, but they didn't. But definitely check that out. It's a cool little, it's a short little, it's like a 5-minute read and like a 5-minute listen. So check that out. It's pretty sweet. That is Josh's only tweet since April 21st. That is not him streaming. Every day, stream. What day is it? Streaming. Hey, should I buy a new bike? Streaming. I will be streaming soon. Streaming. Oh man, scrolling at some point. And then the last one before that was a retweet and a tweet about the passing of Adam Schlesinger. So
Yep.
yeah, he's streaming a lot. That's what he's doing.
Hey, what else is there to do right now?
I mean, you're not wrong. We talked a little bit about that in the pre-show. So, all right, that's
You should
it.
go on Facebook. There are all these artists right now who are like, you know, they're streaming this and it's playing music. They should, you know, could probably easily do Twitter or Facebook, just stream playing guitar.
Me or Josh?
Josh, I mean, you too. But
I actually did think about that. Well, I also tweeted. I tweeted at Justin like, "Hey, you should do this because everyone's doing it, and it would be cool if you did it because you're my favorite." But never responded. But I actually did think about doing it at some point. Like, I don't know, this would be a fun thing to do, maybe. But who would watch? Just you.
oh my god, I went in a nice little group of people who'd
yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe I will. Who knows? That's going to do it for this edition of Motion City Podcast. Until next time, let go of everything. Let your body tell the people that you know you've got soul.
Let go of everything. Let your body tell the people that you know.